and we've been in touch with members of the school board, and I think we're going to try to coordinate something. Who knows what all celebrations we're going to have? We're going to pull lots of different things together, but just congratulations as we get started. We will go on and call the meeting to order, and we'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, so we'll ask our Vice Commander of the American Legion to come down.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will ask that you join us in a moment of silence. You may use this time for preparation for the meeting, any questions that you might have as you're thinking about what we're doing this evening, or for silent reflection and prayer. Thank you all very much. Council members, you all have minutes from our November 13th meeting. Do you have any questions? Any changes to those minutes? Do we have a motion to approve as submitted? So moved. We have a motion. Do we have a second? A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I abstained since I was not.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Foster. At this time, we will open the floor for citizen comments on public matters. If you have anything you would like to share with the council, with the community, please come down to the podium, use the microphone, state your name for the record, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. We're going to be using our new clock. Yes, maybe? Limit your comments to 2 minutes and 56 seconds or less. We'll give you an extra 4 seconds. We will open the floor for citizen comments on public matters.
Hello, my name's Ralph Dowd, and I'm a citizen of Radford. I came here and listened to what was going on before, and I just want to ask, maybe to the lawyer over here, I was just trying to get it straight. How can Mr. Councilman Gillespie not be able to vote on this Radford Economic Development Incentive, and he's, because RU employs him as a accountant to do payroll and some things, and then you have Mayor Horton, he's worked with him for over 20 years down at RU, how he can vote. I mean, I think there's a conflict there in my opinion, but there might be some legal thing that I don't understand. So that's all I got to say. I just
Thanks, Ralph.
would like an answer. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, okay.
Well, let's run through the rest of the citizen comments, and then we'll come back if you want to take a crack at answering that question, Mike, and we'll go from there. Are there any other comments, questions, or concerns for the public record? Seeing none, we will close that portion of the meeting. We do have the opportunity to respond as a council. I will ask Mike if he can make a response to that question.
I'll begin with, in Seth's case, because it may be easier, to address. In the case of Council Person Gillespie, okay. Can you? Sure. Is this not working? Can you hear me okay? In Seth's case, as I understand it, he directly provides professional services to the university foundation, okay? Not necessarily the RUF Hotel Land LLC. However, the RUF, at least in my opinion, the RUF Hotel Land LLC is what would be defined under the Conflicts of Interest Act as an affiliated business entity to the to the Radford University Foundation, okay? So in And as I understand it, and I think this is important, it's my understanding that Seth actually personally does this work professionally for the foundation. So for that reason, due to the fact that the RUF Hotel Land LLC, who is the owner of the real property where the hotel is located, because it is so closely tied to the foundation, who is Seth's client, his conflict in this interest in this instance is more direct and doesn't fall within any of the exceptions that are provided for in the Conflicts of Interest Act. In the case of the mayor, and bear with me on this because this will require a little bit more explanation. Under the Conflicts of Interest Act, there are some conflicts that are so direct that if you have them, you simply can't participate in whatever the matter is, before the council that you have that conflict with, okay? Other conflicts are more remote, indirect, okay? And if certain requirements are met, although you may have a personal interest, as that term is defined by the Conflicts of Interest Act, although you may have a personal interest in that matter that is before council, if certain requirements are met, you're still able to participate, okay? In other words, the Conflicts of Interest Act provides some exceptions that will allow you to do that. So I guess, at least initially, you have some conflicts, again, that are so direct that if you have them, you can't participate. Other conflicts or personal interest are more remote or indirect, all right? And you can participate if certain requirements are met. Here, the matter that is before council is consideration of this performance agreement, okay? The university is not a party to this performance agreement. The RUF Hotel Land LLC is the party, to this agreement along with the EDA, okay? However, as I understand it, the university loaned the RUF Hotel Land LLC $2 million to support the construction of the hotel, okay? Also, as I understand it, the university has the right to be repaid for its loan in the event that the hotel were sold or once the bonds were paid off, right? Okay. So for that reason, the Radford University could potentially enjoy some benefit of the performance agreement being approved because it may affect the RUF Hotel Land LLC's ability to repay that loan. Okay? Does that make sense? The mayor, however, the mayor in this case, the reason why he would have a personal interest in this matter under the Conflicts of Interest Act is by virtue of the fact that he is employed by the university and presumably his salary exceeds $5,000 a year, all right? But again, the university itself is not the entity that would be directly affected by the consideration of the performance agreement, okay? Rather, the university is part of a group of entities that may be affected by council's consideration of this agreement, okay? In addition to the RUF Hotel Land LLC, which is the entity that would be most directly affected, okay, because it's a party to this agreement. The other entities that to some degree, directly, indirectly, remotely, that would be affected would include, well, the EDA, may include the foundation, the university, and all of the businesses that own and operate the hotel. The point is, to some degree, to varying amounts, all of these entities are affected by council's action on this performance agreement. There is an exception in the Conflicts of Interest Act that essentially says that when you've got, you know, a group of businesses or entities that are affected by the transaction, then, you know, the individual whose conflict arises as a result of their connection to one of those entities may still participate if certain declarations are made. In fact, you heard the mayor make that declaration earlier during the work session, just before, I guess, Seth read his. So I guess at the end of the day, to distinguish the two, there's an exception that allows the mayor to still participate, although under the Conflicts of Interest Act, he does have a personal interest in the transaction. He is nonetheless still able to participate. Whereas, although there is a similar type exception in Seth's case, Seth doesn't fall within it because he directly and personally does the foundation's work. So, but however, when these questions come up, you know, unless it's just really clear, what I normally recommend, you know, to my clients is that I think we should get an opinion from the Conflicts of Interest Advisory Council. And the reason why I make that recommendation is because the Conflicts of Interest Act says that, well, you know, if you get an opinion from them in advance before acting, then, and you rely upon that and you follow their advice, then you can't be prosecuted for a violation of the Conflicts of Interest Act. So, because of the nature of you know, this issue, I recommended that the mayor obtain that opinion. And that's what was done here. An opinion was obtained by the Conflicts of Interest Act Advisory Council, and who opined that, you know, although the mayor did have a personal interest in this transaction due to his employment by Radford University, he nonetheless fell within the exception that allows him to act subject to the declaration requirements because this is a transaction that, like the university, has multiple entities that would be indirectly affected as well. I know that's complicated. Unfortunately, many times, you know, the questions that arise under the Conflicts of Interest Act are. I've tried to break it down best I can. I'll be happy to answer any more specific questions that you have as a council, if that helps.
I just wanted to also add that I had already previously publicly recused myself when I was on Planning Commission long before I ran for council. So, you know, I'd already kind of set that precedent on this particular issue. So I just think that that's important to add as well. So
Sure. Does that help? I hope that answers the gentleman's question.
Okay. Moving on, we will come back to more discussion on the Radford Economic Development Incentive later in the meeting. At this point in time, we have a number of resolutions. We have anniversaries to celebrate. I will just say in October, I was fortunate to attend the Daughters of the American Revolution local chapter. They are celebrating their 100th anniversary, and they had a beautiful ceremony at the Radford Recreation Center, an absolutely wonderful recognition of their work with veterans and other groups, and the contribution to preserving the founding of this nation and its history. And as such, we have a resolution considering that 100th anniversary, and Mrs. Foster is going to present that.
Okay. City of Radford Resolution, Daughters of the American Revolution, 100th Anniversary for the General William Campbell Chapter. Whereas 2023 is the 100th anniversary year of the founding and organization of the General William Campbell Chapter of the National Association of the Daughters of the American Revolution that honors the memory and the spirit of the men and women who achieved American independence and promotes education, genealogy, history, historic preservation, patriotism, and Americanism. And whereas the chapter is named after General William Campbell. Born in 1745, William Campbell was a Virginia farmer, pioneer, and soldier, one of the 13 signers of the earliest statement of armed resistance to the British Crown in the 13 colonies, the Fincastle Resolutions. Campbell presented Hanover County in the Virginia House of Delegates. A militia leader during the American Revolutionary War, he was known to Loyalists as the Bloody Tyrant of Washington County. But to the Patriots, he was known for his leadership at the Battle of Kings Mountain and the Battle of Guilford Courthouse. And whereas the General William Campbell Chapter of DAR was founded on December 13, 1923 by Mrs. Sadie Johnson Reed, with a charter membership of 14 members to complete this important service work on the local level. And whereas now 23 daughters continue this fine tradition with the hundreds of people locally and the millions nationally who have served in this vibrant service organization's mission to date, promoting historic preservation, education, and patriotism. And whereas the members of the General William Campbell Chapter have helped preserve and protect the final resting places of the men and women who achieved American independence, placed historical markers, and donated countless hours of service to local veterans and students. And whereas General William Campbell Chapter members are celebrating their founding and their future and held a celebration of their history over the past year, including a ceremony in October at the Radford Recreation Center. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this vital organization and its memorable anniversary. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Radford, Virginia, does hereby formally recognize the 100th anniversary of the General William Campbell Chapter of the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution and commends the membership for their diligent efforts to preserve the spirit of the founding of our nation and support veterans in our area. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this resolution.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Can we ask our DAR members to come down and join us, please? And we will all come down front to present you with your 100th anniversary resolution. Congratulations, absolutely. Congratulations. Come on down front here. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Oh, you can't get in the back. No.
Congratulations, and here's to another 100 years. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And I just have to state that I am so proud of the work this organization does in preserving burial places of many of our veterans, working with veteran services, trying to assist them, whether they were connected to the revolution or not, and just continuing to express education about how things happened in 1776 in the period following throughout the American Revolution. So thank you all so much for your diligent efforts, and we're so appreciative of all of you. We also have some additional anniversaries to celebrate here. It doesn't feel like it's already been 5 years since we did a wonderful big celebration for BT's Restaurant, but it is their 40th anniversary. And they have done, Todd and Kelsey Jones have taken over BT's in that time. Tom Whitehead, of course, was one of the founding members. He was the T in BT's along with Bill Ellenbogen. They were the BT's, but now Todd and Kelsey are the ones that are keeping this program going and moving us forward in good fellowship, continuing to make improvements, helping with job creation, tourism, and making Radford a place where people want to spend time. And we do have a resolution regarding BT's 40th anniversary.
Radford, Virginia, Resolution BT's 40 years in business. Whereas the City of Radford celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community. And whereas Radford supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our neighborhoods. And whereas BT's Restaurant was established in 1983 and has been in business in Radford for 40 years. And whereas the front part of BT's was the house built in the 1920s, and since then 3 additions have been made to the restaurant to grow the dining space, kitchen, and add a pool room. And whereas BT's is named after the original owners, Bill and Tom, and is now under new ownership by Todd and Kelsey Jones, but is still serving up the same food and fun. And whereas BT's takes pride in maintaining engagement with the community and has an event calendar that can accommodate all citizens. And whereas BT's is estimated to have served over 2 million customers since opening 40 years ago. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Radford City Council encourages all citizens to join BT's in celebrating their 40 years in business by joining them for food, fun, and friends. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to adopt this proclamation.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, BT's. I don't think Todd or Kelsey could be with us this evening, but we'll make sure we go by and make that presentation. But let's give them a round of applause. I will just say 40 years in business is incredible, especially a small business in a smaller community, and finding ways to continue to reinvent yourself and make yourself relevant is so important. We also have a business that has exceeded that mark by 5 years. Sal's Family Restaurant, their Italian restaurant, is one of the landmarks of the city of Radford, of the New River Valley, and certainly we are pleased to recognize their 45 years in business with a resolution.
City of Radford Resolution. Sal's Restaurant and Pizzeria, 45 years in business. Whereas the City of Radford celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community. And whereas Radford supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our neighborhoods. And whereas Sal's Restaurant and Pizzeria was established in 1978 by Domenico Puglisi and has been a family-owned business in Radford for 45 years. And whereas Sal's is managed by Joe Puglisi and has 30 employees who help to serve up the finest homemade Italian food in the New River Valley. And whereas the atmosphere in Sal's is suitable for a romantic dinner for 2, a table for the whole family, or a great place to have a private party or meeting in their banquet room. And whereas Sal's takes pride in maintaining engagement within the community and can often be found hosting fundraiser nights for Radford City schools or nonprofit organizations. And whereas Sal's has been serving up traditional Italian favorites for 45 years, while making all who dine there feel as they are part of the family. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Radford Council encourages all citizens to join Sal's in celebrating their 45 years in business by joining them for their fine Italian food. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this proclamation.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And once again, congratulations to Sal's on 45 years in business. We will We may run over there if we finish and give it to them on pasta night. You never know. But we are so appreciative of our small businesses in Radford. You know, a couple months ago, we did a resolution for Small Business Saturday, which is always the Saturday following the Thanksgiving holidays and Black Friday. But every Saturday can be Small Business Saturday, and I think it's important that we go out and continue to support our small businesses here in Radford, that we encourage others. If you're thinking about holiday gifts this season, gift cards, gift certificates certainly help keep that lifeblood going, particularly in January, February, and March when things are a little bit tight for some of our businesses. But we are so appreciative of all of them and the successes that they've had, and we're pleased to be a part of that. At this time, we will look at having a public hearing, and so I'm going to open the floor here in just a few minutes. The city of Radford has owned some property known as Prospect Hill for many, many decades. The 20-acre site is topographically challenging. There's a pretty good hill associated with it, hence the name Prospect Hill, but it is suited for residential development options. We have requested that a public hearing be scheduled at its meeting back on November 13th. And we wanted to see if there are any public comments out there regarding the marketing and disposition of the property. The public hearing has been advertised. It is zoned as R3 residential. David, do you have anything you want to add?
No,
Will you
Mayor,
turn your
you've
mic on?
You've covered all the basis for this. The property is topographically challenged. Many councils have looked at it over the years. We thought we'd give it another attempt. There's really no public use for it. It does have marked in blue, it does have a water main that comes up from the plant that we'll need to retain, but somebody creative may be able to come up with something, and as you all know, we're trying to promote housing and growth in our community. The New River Valley needs housing opportunities. The property's already zoned for that, so we'll just see where it goes from there, and this gives you an opportunity to proceed with some marketing and possible reuse.
Okay. Council members, do you all have any questions before we open the public hearing?
Can you define retain? Like, are we just gonna own that little strip of where the water line is, or?
Sure, and I'll defer to Mike if he's got any other comments, but the water main that goes through there is a main line that goes all the way back up to Rock Road Tank. What we would do is retain an easement on that property.
That's what I thought, just making sure.
So we just have control of it, make sure that nothing ever happens in case the line has to be replaced or repaired, or, you know, if one day we ever got rid of it and went to another direction with it. But is that adequately?
That is correct.
An easement would be how we would retain it.
That's what I thought, just making sure.
Any other questions?
And we would retain that in the sale or disposition of the property. We wouldn't go back and get it later.
So it would be the city's responsibility to fix the, okay, just clarifying. Thank you.
At this time, we will open the floor for the public hearing. I don't see anybody rushing for the mic or that seems to have a question, so we will go on and officially close the public hearing and move forward from there. We do have some additional business we're going to deal with related to some right-of-ways along Prospect Hill, but that's under our new business. Before we get to that, we do need to have some further discussion on the Radford Economic Development Incentive Program. Okay, so I thought we were just combining those into one. So we are now having a second public hearing on the right-of-way vacations for Oakland Avenue, Elmwood, and the alleyway associated there, and they're all marked on the map. So the public hearing is now open. The floor is open.
I will add to that, they are marked in yellow on the map. We have looked at those. Because of the steepness and no utilities, we don't see any reason they need to be kept. So this would also add to the attractiveness of the property to someone else.
Okay, the floor is open for the public hearing. Seeing no one coming to the podium, we will go on and close the public hearing, and then we will actually discuss a board of viewers to look at those right-of-way vacations for those properties under new business. At this time, we will move on to old business, the Radford Economic Development Incentive. We had a very significant discussion prior to this meeting in a work session with our Economic Development Authority. The Radford University Foundation Hotel Land Limited Liability Corporation has constructed a 125-unit hotel, restaurant, and conference facility at 604 Tyler Avenue to advance economic development, community offerings. The investment is assessed at $24.4 million and opened in April after 2 years of planning and construction. The Radford EDA has been underway on the details of the performance agreement. We talked through all that during our work session. The performance agreement was approved at the meeting on October 19th, 2023. The basics of the performance agreement are that the READY generally provides annual calendar year relief in the form of a grant on real property taxes up to 80% of the payment that the hotel would make to the city over a 10-year period. This agreement provides operational expectations and clawback provisions if the terms are not met. The taxes are paid by the foundation reimbursement within 30 days following the end of the calendar year. So having said that, all of that is part of the consideration. As was mentioned in the work session, the EDA thought it was prudent to put some additional performance metrics in there based on lodging, meals, sales, some of the conference activities, everything that would happen at the hotel. So 60% of the real estate tax would be the initial piece, and if those different areas met certain qualifications, up to 80% could be rebated in terms of a grant. Council members, there's been a lot of discussion about this and a lot of commentary. Do you have any questions about the READY program itself or the performance agreement that has been established between the EDA and the Hotel Land Liability, Limited Liability Corporation?
I don't have any other discussion.
Okay. I will say that a significant portion of this has been based on my participation in the process. And I am going to read this statement before we move forward with anything else. I read it during the work session. I'm going to read it again. This matter involves a performance agreement with the RUF Hotel LLC that is subject to approval by City Council. The RUF Hotel Land LLC is the owner of the real property where the Highlander Hotel is located. I've been advised that the Radford University loaned the RUF Hotel LLC $2 million to support the construction of the hotel. I'm employed by the university and receive a salary of more than $5,000 annually. Due to the fact that the approval of the performance agreement may directly or indirectly affect the RUF Hotel Land LLC's ability to repay the loan to the university, I have a personal interest in the matter. I, however, am a member of a business, profession, occupation, or group that may be affected by council's decision and therefore am able to participate pursuant to sections 2.2-3112B1 and 2.2-3115H of the Virginia Conflicts of Interest Act. I'm also able to participate in this matter fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. Seth, I know you have a statement as well.
I'm abstaining from the vote tonight on this matter due to a conflict of interest. I provide the accounting services to the Radford University Foundation, which is an affiliated business entity to the RUF Hotel Land LLC. The foundation is located at 905 Tyler Avenue, Radford, Virginia. And then I'll also, as previously stated, I've previously recused myself from this as a member of Planning Commission.
And so it was brought up, Ralph Dowd brought up, why could Seth not participate and I could, and Mr. Bedsall explained the legal side of that. One of the big challenges when you're in any of these roles is that there will be times when you have to find out if you're actually able to participate in something, what that process is, and what you're able to do, what you can and cannot do. And in Seth's case, because he receives remuneration from the foundation and provides the services, obviously that's a direct piece. For mine, it's a little more complicated. And one of the pieces going back really to 2020 that we looked at with this is what precedent would be established recusing oneself simply because of the appearance of a potential conflict with the university. I think the challenge is we have had members of council over time who have worked for Radford University and voted on matters that were connected with Radford University, with Radford City. We've had a number of folks who have been involved and have had personal interest in things, and council members who have read statements similar to this statement to be able to vote on different matters that were before council. So it's not as clear a decision as everyone feels like it might be that has looked at this matter, because there is a precedent to be set. One of the challenges we have is the university is a pretty significant portion of our community. Recusing oneself from any portion because of the appearance that working for the university would cause you to not be able to act fairly for the community presents a problem and sets a precedent that could be challenging moving forward. The other side of it is that obtaining the legal opinion was the process that we felt was most prudent in ensuring that we were following best practice by the Conflicts of Interest Act and by the state. And so that is the process we've gone through. I have heard from council members who are concerned about my participation simply because of the appearance more than anything else, and that's troubling to me because I want our council members to feel supported and valued. It is a challenge to pursue this as we move forward, but I will also say this program and the economic development of our community is far bigger than David Horton. I don't want anything that I might participate in or anything related to my service as mayor to derail our community. And I think that's a very important distinction to make. I don't want our council to feel like their votes are tainted because of a perception. But having said that, this is an important thing for us to move forward with. This is something that sets a precedent for our community with additional economic development. This is something that sets a precedent for our community as we work on our tourism and recreation pieces that will hopefully grow our economy. Everything that has been done has been to move us forward. It's frustrating that this was the first project with the READY program, because I think if we had already had 2 or 3 projects that had come to fruition, this would probably be a lot easier. But because of some of the complexities, it does become a little more of a challenge. I do think it's important that it passes, and one of the concerns that I have is if that I participate while legally able, that some members of council may choose not to vote on that matter. I can't speak for anybody else and go with that statement, but I will say I'm uncomfortable with setting a precedent that a member of this council cannot participate because they're employed in a certain way if the process has been checked and there is a legal process to move through. That having been said, I will abstain from this vote if it is what will allow this to pass. I am not saying that I'm recusing myself from the matter, nor that it is inappropriate for me to participate. It is obviously legal. It is obviously a decision that we have pulled together. But I also believe in supporting my fellow members of council as we continue to move forward. Having said that, I will not necessarily abstain from other matters that are connected between the city and university, because that's a pretty big precedent to set. And it doesn't just set it for me, it sets it for every member of this council from here forward. It sets it for everybody who serves in an office in the city of Radford. This is not a decision I take lightly in this situation, but I would rather see this pass, and I choose to step back on this particular matter, than to see it fail, and even though I'm able to participate, I participate. So having said that, do we have a motion to move forward with the Radford Economic Development Incentive Performance Agreement?
So moved.
Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Jenny, will you call the vote?
Aye. Yes. Whatever.
Yes.
Abstain. Abstain.
Abstain.
So I hope this is helpful to everyone. This is something that I think is far more important than me. Now, having said this, we have another piece of business to do. We will have to bring this back up in January at our meeting for second reading, as we do not have 4 affirmative votes in this matter. Is that correct, Mike? We just voted on the resolution for the performance agreement, yes. Yes. Yeah. So in January, we will come back to this. The same will apply. I'm going to state once again, it is my choice, because I feel like this is an incredibly important thing for it to pass, Choosing to abstain is not something that legally I'm required to do, nor is it something that I think I should be doing necessarily because we are elected to make these decisions, but I want to be supportive of my council members. I also want to make sure this moves forward because it's important for the city of Radford. Any other comment or question? I think we've talked this to death. Why don't we move on? And at this point in time, we do need to look at some new business to appoint a board of viewers for the right-of-way vacations for Oakland Avenue, Elmwood, and the alleyway. Council members, do you all have any suggestions for our board of viewers? Well, I'm going to go back to the well. We haven't asked anybody. Yes, absolutely. Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to go back to the well of the people we've talked to previously.
I'm fine with any of those.
Well, do we have nominations?
How many does it need to be?
3?
Abram's in the audience. Abram, would you like to be on the Board of Visitors, or should we accept the
Viewers.
nomination? Viewers?
You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I know you're on the list, so he's here.
bad timing on our part there.
Asking people that we always ask.
Yeah. I know Bart Castleberry has been one routinely. Who are some of the others?
Jennifer Bondurant.
Jennifer Bondurant
would be a good choice.
would be
I
a
think
good one.
those 3 would be great. Do we have a motion to accept those 3?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion to second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now moving forward, we do have 2 boards and commissions. My term on the Peppers Ferry Regional Wastewater Facility is up at the end of the year. I have enjoyed serving the city of Radford along with city manager on that board, and we need to reappoint someone. I would like to serve once again on that. That would be a 4-year term. And then also the Western Virginia EMS participation is up, and right now, our fire chief has been our representative. He has made a recommendation, and I apologize, I'm getting to that part of my notes. I have moved things around because we've talked about so much. I'll get to it in a minute. I got it right here.
Regional wastewater?
No, I got it right here. I was just going to talk about it before we go forward. Captain Jason Gifford has been recommended for appointment to the Western Virginia EMS Board. So, council members, do we have a motion that we accept the recommendation of myself as reappointment to the Peppers Ferry Water Treatment Authority and to Jason Gifford for appointment to the Virginia Western EMS Board?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
David, what do you have for us this evening?
Because of the structure of Peppers Ferry and the way they do their bonding, we do need to get the formal resolution that's in your packet approved.
Oh,
for Mayor
okay.
Horton. And then also for the alternate, you all will recall, we appointed Basil Edwards in September, but because of their bonding, Mike can correct me if I'm wrong, they have to have resolutions. This has been.
I will read the resolutions for those then. Whereas the Peppers Ferry Regional Wastewater Treatment Authority, known as the Authority, is an entity formed pursuant to the Virginia Water and Wastewater Authorities of the Code of Virginia, consisting of the political subdivisions of the County of Montgomery, the County of Pulaski, the Town of Pulaski, the Town of Dublin, the City of Radford, and whereas the powers of the authority are exercised by a board consisting of 8 directors residing in and appointed by governing body of each member political subdivision, and whereas the governing body of the City of Radford is entitled to appoint 2 members to the authority's board of directors to serve terms of 4 years, except that any appointee filling a vacancy shall serve the unexpired term, and whereas the governing body of the City of Radford wishes to appoint David Horton as a member of the authority board of directors, now therefore be it resolved that David Horton is hereby appointed to serve as a member of the authority board of directors to serve a term of 4 years, beginning on the first day of January 2024 and expiring on the 31st day of December 2027. The member appointed herein is directed to take the oath of office prescribed in Section 49-1 of the Code of Virginia before entering the duties of the office adopted by the governing body on this 11th day of December 2023. Will you call the vote, Jenny?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think I did that correctly. I guess we may have messed it up. I don't know. Did we need a motion and a second before we called the vote, since we did that before? Do we have a motion to approve this resolution? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Now call the roll once again.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, resolution on the appointment of our alternate to the Pepperas Ferry Regional Wastewater Treatment Authority. I'm not going to read the whole thing again, but I am going to move down to now therefore be it resolved that Basil Edwards is hereby appointed to serve as an alternate member of the Authority Board of Directors to serve a term of 4 years beginning on the first day of January 2024 and expiring on the 31st day of December 2027, and such alternate members shall be empowered to vote on behalf of the City of Radford in the absence of David Horton. The alternate member appointed herein is directed to take the oath of office prescribed in 49-1 of the Code of Virginia before entering the duties of office. Adopted this day, the 11th day of December 2023. Do we have a motion to approve Basil as the alternative?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Would you call the roll once again?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think we covered it. David, what do you have?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Just a few quick things. We've had a lot of activity over the last few weeks. I do want to thank council and our staff and the public for great turnout, great events as associated with our Christmas holiday parade and the events at the library, the tree lighting a few days ago. Thank you so much to our staff. We couldn't make these. They're very complicated in planning and putting those together, so we very much appreciate that and the other special events that have gone on over the past few weeks as we lead up to the holidays. Congratulations, Bobcats. Great weekend, so more will be coming on that as we come down the road. Just want to take a minute to say something about our finances. All accounts payable are paid. Revenues are coming up. We've cut tremendous amount of money out of our budget to help us get through cash flow issues. We should be in good shape moving forward once we get through this first 6 months and we can kind of see where we have come with revenue generation, but it does look good with what came in for taxes, both personal property and property taxes. And then, of course, we've got our biggies coming in from VDOT, our reimbursements for operations and buses and things like that. So the big thing that's helped us out is getting the grants coming in for our reimbursements much more timely. And then cuts that we've had, and no service cuts, everything, nobody will even notice, but we've done some things to make sure operationally we'll be able to cut where we can and make sure that we are able to function as lean and mean as we possibly can. So that is an ongoing process. We never budget and then just leave it. We keep coming back, coming back, coming back. Again, this has just been a very accumulation of several tough years, but it's something that we're watching very closely. And watching that, it should be no issues with our solvency whatsoever. So I hate those kind of rumors are going around. That is not the case whatsoever. So just know we're constantly on that, and I feel good about where we're going and what we're going to end up being able to accomplish. So with that being said, also I am very pleased tonight to be able to say I've dropped the interim status for our police chief. He is now Police Chief Jerry Holdaway. So Jerry's done a super job for the department. He's been with us a long time, has done a great job in the interim role, is known by everybody. I can't say enough about how pleased I am, and I think this is a very positive thing for our community and for the department. So wish Jerry well. He's here tonight, and we will be doing more things as we're going forward, but wanted to make that official, and I think that's a very positive thing moving into the holidays. And then lastly, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to you all. It's a pleasure to serve with you all, and thank you so much for the opportunity, and look forward to 2024.
Thank you, David. Seth, what do you have this evening?
I have a comment for David.
Oh,
before
okay. Go ahead.
I just want to touch base. I know we had transitioned into a new computer platform system with Munis. Do you feel like that's working okay, that you're getting accurate numbers from that people are using it properly? And Are we still using two systems to
There are
look
still
at?
two,
And
there are still two systems. There
Okay.
is an old accounting system called the
400 or
AS 400.
4,000.
There is no support. It's an old IBM. If anybody knows what IBM
Yeah.
is, old IBM service. We are moving away from that. It was recommended by the auditors. It has been an ongoing process, but everybody is on the Munis system. That's what it's a local government finance tool. And there is a difference between finances and treasury operations. But yes, we're merging into one Munis system that should happen this year.
So you haven't already merged? There are people
there was-
using it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. Munis has been with the city for,
Years.
Yes.
yeah, a long time. And the AS 400 has been here longer than that, but we're moving away from the AS 400 and totally onto one accounting system.
But you're still using both of them to
Both,
kind of look at
yes.
different things, so you
Due
feel
to
like.
training, complications with Munis, change in personnel in Munis, there's been some things that have complicated the changeover, but we anticipate by the spring, we should be able to make the conversion.
Okay.
Plus, we also went through reassessment, and there was some complications between the ProVal, which is the reassessment tool used in valuations, to get over to the Munis side. So there's a bridge that's now been developed from that through Munis. So everything should be on one system.
But when you look at Munis, do you feel like you're looking at accurate account totals, transactions, general ledger entries? I mean, do you feel?
Everything's entered in, yes.
Okay.
That's what we have to go on as our financial document. Of course, we verify that with the treasurer's office in the actual accounting numbers that we have as far as what cash looks like in the bank.
Okay, I just want to make
That
sure.
answer your question?
Yes, I was just checking in on the system conversion.
Several
and
moving
making sure.
parts, but
Yeah.
yes, we watch all of that.
Okay, all right, thank you, I appreciate that.
Seth, what do you have?
I'll start probably with the same thing everybody else will, and how about them Bobcats? You know, I played football for them, and we were 500, so we didn't quite have the same opportunity. But man, what a great season for them! I know that it's been good for this city, something we need in a lot of ways, and I know every person here in this room has enjoyed cheering for them. So congratulations to the coaches, the players, the cheerleaders, the band. I mean, just like kind of here, there's a lot of moving parts that make that all work, and they've done it well, and it's a testament to their perfect season. So congrats to all of them. I'm happy for them, and I know Bobcat Nation is strong and proud. Also, I just wanted to thank all of the workers throughout the city. The city looks really pretty when you drive through downtown with the lights. The new tree placement looks awesome. It looks really good when you come across the bridge. It just pops. So the city's all lit up, and it looks really pretty. So I appreciate all the work that has gone into that. I know Glencoe celebrated their 25-year anniversary. I was at the state championship game, so I hate that I couldn't make it. I'll give a shout out to someone I know well, my grandfather. He was the former mayor, and I know that he was very passionate about that project and worked hard when a lot of times it wasn't very popular. And it's a testament that it's 25 years later. What a cool thing it is that brings everybody together and celebrates our history. So kudos to him and all the many people that have made it a success and continue to make it a success. Scott does a great job down there, and the board, and I know Jesse serves with them. So kudos to them, and it's a great asset to this community. The parade was great, had a huge turnout. We had fun. Almost made it on the candy. We were pretty close. Bobby made a suggestion for dog treats next year, which I thought was a plus. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Not for the children, just for clarity?
Yeah, that's right.
For the dogs that are going to be in attendance?
Yes. So we'll add that. I want to offer my congratulations to Chief Holdaway. You know, I know you're the man for the job, and appreciate all you have done for many years and will do. And I think the biggest component of it is I know that Radford will be safe with you and under your leadership, and that the men and women in your office are the best of the best. I appreciate all you guys do, and congratulations. Look forward to working with you. And last I'll say is to all the council and everyone is hope you have a Merry Christmas, great New Year, holidays, and I will see you in 2024. That's all I got.
Bobby, what do you have this evening?
Likewise, I guess I'll be repeating. Great parade. A lot of people. I'm surprised how many people were there. Y'all must need a shield to Anyway, hey, we run out of candy. I was surprised, but we did. But everybody had a good time. It was a lot of, I like the Christmas spirit. I could just feel it walking, talking to people. So that was cool. Bobcats went to the game. Wow. I mean, once they got 2 scores ahead, it was like game over, lights out. Great job there to the Bobcats. Like to Fouls and BTs. I think the reason why, actually, I feel like I know the reason why they've been around so long. Primarily due to the great customer service. Every time you go in there, they are spot on. So that's the reason for Christmas is Jesus.
Jesse, what do you have?
All right, so I promised everyone I would get back with you on the voucher meeting that I had with Delegate Ballard. And so it went extremely well, and some of the things that they said couldn't happen with the Virginia Housing Authority, we actually are going to accomplish. So here are the basic terms. They're going to remove the lottery from the administrative plan effective 7/1/2024. They're going to update the preferences in the administrative plan to add state as a preference as well as your community. We will be provided the list of all 800 applicants so we can keep track of those that had applied that didn't make the list. I did suggest that they offer assistance to other communities that may not be voicing their concerns, that may be dealing with a similar list. I wanted them to be I want them to reach out and talk to them about the plan that's going to be forward. They said July. They're going to try for sooner. I'm not sure. And they're also going to provide training for areas that have no choice but have to open the wait list on how to get the appropriate individuals from their community. So quick synopsis, it's the voucher program through HUD. The Housing Authority tried a new approach. Out of our 200 vouchers, only 50 were residents of Radford. The rest were coming from out of state or in state, but not from Radford. Actually, we had more people coming from out of state than in Radford. So we were working diligently to resolve that. So there is a resolution. They are working on it. We are going to place our Radford people first by July. It should be an appropriate time to reopen that list and capture those that we're going to be tracking from the 800. So, but all in all, it went
Hold on,
well.
before you go, good job. Without you working on this, that would not have been taken care of. And you've not only done it for the city of Radford, you've helped fix this for other localities in the Commonwealth
Thank
by
you.
doing this. So thank you.
Well, it was something that, you know, I know when I mentioned it to council, every individual was like, this cannot be accurate. And when I spoke with our delegate, he's like, that just cannot be right. So when everyone looks at each other and says that there's a problem and it can't be right, we have to do more than just wring our hands. So thank you very much. I appreciate that, but there were people that don't have a voice that I felt like our community needed to speak up for.
Did a great job.
Thank you so much for that. I had a CPMT meeting. I did a police ride-out with one of our new officers, Jacob Caudell. Usually I come with some interesting anecdotes. This was a quiet evening, but I didn't go out till 3 in the morning, so that probably had a lot to do with it. Wonderful new officer. What I always ask them is, how are we doing? Are we competitive? Are you getting the resources that you need? And I have to say, what a big difference it has been with the council's ongoing support to be able to ride out and hear, this is wonderful. We have actually more equipment than another community, and we are getting paid a little bit better, and we get to take our cars home. So just kudos to everyone that's worked so hard on that. I am a member of the Chamber Board, and as you all know, we had the gala. It was a wonderful success. I did purchase a sink that I have no idea how or why, but I am now the owner of a double sink from the silent auction. They mentioned the holiday parade. I was so amazed. I really think we really tried to provide more candy, but I really think we just had so many more people in attendance that it was just exciting. And we were doing our best to parcel it off because we always feel so bad at the end when there's a few of those kids standing there. But I really believe that we did a good job. I just think we had more people, so we still may need more candy. I know. She's like, there's no way. Yeah, next year. Yeah, and dog treats. But again, you know, we know where that's for. Glencoe had their 25th anniversary event. I am also on their board. It was very, very well attended. The MC was Dr. Harshbarger. It was also his birthday celebration, so he's one of my favorite people. I'd like to just again say happy birthday to him. And they wanted me to give you guys handy dandy magnet, as well as the anniversary edition, which is actually very informative. They did a really good job on that, so I'm going to pass that down to everybody. There you go. I did want to ask in January, I know we've talked about this, and I just want to make sure that we keep this on the forefront, to try to make appointments with some of our leading industry members to go and have tours to make sure we are in contact with them and they know we're here for them, and also to understand what all they do, because I'm always learning new things about the industry here. So if we could get back on that. I did make a little trip out myself. I was visiting, let's see, I did a couple of them. The last one was Tech Lab. And I don't know if you guys are aware, I was not aware. They are now an international company. They were purchased by a company out of Denmark. And out of their locations, I thought you guys would find this interesting. There's Radford. They're using a place in Dublin just for storage because they don't have enough space right now for that with what their plans are. China, San Diego. Our property is the only one they own. So I was very impressed with that. So their investment here is great. I know they're moving some of their manufacturing from San Diego to Radford. They like to do business with us here, and so they are growing. It's hard to tell from the outside because technology is, you know, it changes, and it's what used to take 3 big buildings now takes a small room. But if you guys are not aware, or anyone in our community, they are one of the largest providers for testing equipment for C. diff to hospitals. So they're manufacturing those test strips there. So I'd love for all of us to get back out there again. It's amazing. But I thought you'd like to know that we're the only property they currently own. I did a
Still number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, I did a little happy dance about that. The American Legion, I have someone coming out to do the electrical work. That should be done hopefully by the end of December. So we're plodding away. We still need a plumber, so if there are any plumbers out there that would be willing to lend a hand to our veterans at the American Legion, please reach out to me. I would love to be able to work something out. That's our next big barrier that we have. I want to congratulate Chief Holdaway. You are I think, a wonderful example. What I was hearing, even on my ride-outs when I've seen the officers, how much it means to them to see someone work their way up through the ranks and get a promotion. And so I just want to congratulate you and let you know that the folks that I've been able to talk to in your department are really happy for you to be the new chief. So congratulations to you for that. And I think the other thing, I just want to recognize this council, because we've had to wrestle through some tough things. And, you know, I feel like we're all coming at these issues with the right intentions and with a good heart. And I love the fact that we are diligent and we turn over the stone many times to see all the different facets to make sure we're getting a good grasp of it. So that was probably one of our first bigger battles as a newer council together, and I appreciate all the insight. Certainly, I always am learning as well from you guys. So I just want to say that I appreciate our dialogue, and you know, hopefully we'll have more of that conversation because we'll have more companies here. So, and that's all I have.
Thanks, Jesse. Kelly, what do you have?
I have a lot of the same. Go Bobcats. state championship is long overdue. I cheered all 4 years of my high school experience, and I can't imagine how exciting that was. I didn't get to go to the game. I wish I had been there, but I've heard a lot about it, so congratulations to them. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving and gearing up for Christmas. Most of my time has been spent helping get ready for the Santa breakfast that's hosted by the McCarg PSA, which I'm the treasurer of. I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody that volunteered. We had RU men's and women's basketball. We had the cheer people from RU. We had a ton of volunteers from the high school. It was really just an amazing event attended by over 900 community members, so it was pretty huge. And then also a huge shout out to Melissa Gerald, who spent a very long months and hours planning it and coordinating it, which is a huge task. So thank you very much to her. I also wanted to say thank you to everyone that has helped volunteer for the Santa store. That's what I've been doing all day today and doing tomorrow. And those little shoppers, they are very adamant about what they want to give people. So if you are a parent, grandparent, brother, sister in the community who gets a cat toy as a gift, it's because they really wanted to give you that. And there was several of those today. So we try to give them some guidance, but definitely don't stifle their will to give exactly what they want to. So I really appreciate the community coming together and all the volunteers that helped me with that. The parade was amazing, much better pace for sure. I feel like I need to work on my candy distribution. We had a ton of candy, but I just get super excited like I know a lot of us do. And so we need to work on that. But thank you to everyone that made that amazing. And I was really appreciative for some of the newer floats, some RU attendants. So I heard that it was the best parade in a lot of the areas that we share land with, so that was good. Appreciate the EDA for all of their due diligence and efforts working on the incentive program. I definitely am a supporter of incentives. We need all of the revenue that we can get, and you can't do that without having businesses and growth. And I know that growth is difficult because change is hard sometimes, but we need to make sure that we strive to continue offering a competitive environment for businesses to come to our area. So I appreciate their hard work on that. Congratulations, Jerry. I heard the same sentiments from everybody else that they're excited about you continuing your position. So that was good. Congratulations to Sal's and BT's. Sal's was always my favorite place that I waitressed. They gave the best tips, and we always got free espresso to get us through the shift, so that was good. BT's, I went to brunch there the other day after not going in a long time, and it was phenomenal. So I encourage everybody to go to brunch there. I think that's it. Thank you, guys, to everybody for all you do throughout the year. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a New Year, and I hope to continue to move forward next year for sure.
Thank you, Kelly. Again, I'll just say to Chief Holdaway, thank you for your service. We're really excited for where you're going to take our department. We're so appreciative of the last 6 months and, of course, your entire career thus far, but we're really excited for the launching pad that you're on now to be able to continue to move us forward. So thank you so much. I do want to say thank you to all the city staff for the hard work that they do. We put a lot of pressure on everybody from parades to tree lightings to other holiday activities, and this is, of course, an incredibly busy time of year with other things going on. So we are so appreciative of everybody, and we want to say thank you and hope you all and your families have a wonderful holiday season. It's a good time to rest and reflect. We won't get back together until January the 8th, and hopefully everybody can take some time to decompress and move forward. I'm thankful for my council members, fellow council members, for all the hard work you all do. You know, these are not easy positions, and you hear a lot of different things. And I think you have to do your best to make a decision and to move us forward as a community. I will say this to the community. You know, this council and the councils of the last few years have definitely been active in trying to find a sustainable pathway for the city of Radford. that this is something that we're working really hard to figure out, whether it be from looking for economic incentive to bring business here, to trying to acquire what has become the West Radford Commerce Park, to trying to develop our downtown areas into new spaces where people want to spend their time here in the 21st century, to river and trail tourism, to everything we're trying to do. But we also don't claim to have all the ideas in the bucket. If somebody has an idea that they think they would like to see have happen, bring it on. We would love to have it. If there are things that you see that we could be doing better, we would love to hear from you. My door is always open. In fact, I hear from lots and lots of people. I get lots of questions, and I'm more than happy to help answer them. I do want to answer a couple of questions just real quickly that have been brought my way over the last few months. And I've been concerned because there's been some lack of understanding among some folks out there, and so some things have been misconstrued. To David Ridpath's point, our bills are paid in the city. There are no bills that are going unpaid. We are not $4 million behind. We had a cash flow issue with some of the way that our debt was structured, and we're working to resolve that within the budget. I've had a number of people ask me about that. And I've had people say, oh, are you borrowing $4 million just to give it away to Radford University or to give it away to someone else? No, that is not accurate. We had a $4 million bond to ensure that we had cash available to pay bills on hand, which is exactly what we've been doing with it. And as David said, I trust David and the staff to work together to make sure that we are financially solvent and continuing to move forward. There is no doubt to that. And in fact, revenues are moving forward. They're not lower, they're moving higher than they have been, and that's a real positive. To the READY program, thank you all for your support of that program. I think that's an incredibly important thing our Economic Development Authority is doing, and the good news is it's working. As we have been told individually, personally, through letters, through other things, the hotel likely wouldn't exist in the way that it does without that program being in place. And that was a positive all along the construction process to make sure that happened in a positive way. So that's a win. That's a win for this city. That's a win for the citizens in this community, and so that's a real positive. Good things are happening in Radford. We have to come together to support our businesses and to support each other. I do want to talk about reassessment. That is a required process by state law. It's been going on for 18 months, so this is not something that in the last 2 months we said, hey, let's reassess everybody's property and make it more expensive so we can get more taxes. That's not how it works at all. The city hires an outside firm that are professionals in reassessment. They go around and do their best to reassess private homes, commercial properties, everything in the city, and then they issue that reassessment. Up until last week, folks had the opportunity to appeal that reassessment. We had about 100, I think, that had questions, 100 parcels, maybe 30 people, something along that line. Great. If you don't think it's right, you should appeal and ask why, and also understand why your property is valued the way it is. It's a good problem to have. It's a challenge nonetheless. Radford is a popular place. We have had record investment in the last 5 years. Annually, it has been record after record after record as new homes have been constructed, places have been renovated, new properties have come on board. That's a positive for our community. It does provide a challenge. Now, how does that affect your taxes? Reassessment is one piece, but we are going to look at the tax rate as we go into budget season this year, and taxes will be lowered. The rates will be lowered. Now, will your individual bill be lowered? None of us up here know that. None of us know what you will be paying in taxes this time next year. It's not going to be whatever your assessment is times 0.84. We do know that because we're going to look at the rates and we're going to make a change. But it's really important that we get these facts right. There are folks who are sharing information that is not accurate, and that creates panic, that creates fear, that creates uncertainty, and it also creates negativity about our community. So please ask any of us up here, city staff, we will be more than happy to share with you what the actual information is as best we can and make sure that we get you the answers that you need as a community. Radford is in a great place. We're moving forward faster than we have in a long time. The efforts of these folks up here, the efforts of our staff, the efforts of our volunteers are continuing to help advance us. We want to say thank you to all the private investment that's happened in this community, and we are going to continue to move forward. And with that, we will say, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and good night. Maybe.